Also to go ahead and preview here a little bit the Jets and the Giants because we do have a preseason game left. I know no one cares, but I feel obligated to go over it.
We have to.
We do. I feel like an obligation is there. Like we have to somewhat at least go over it. I mentioned it there. So let's go ahead and do that right now. It's the Jets and the Giants. We got the picture there of Aaron Rodgers, who's not even going to play in the game. Guys,
he's not going to go 3 and out.
Yeah, no, this is that's the season. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
it's a regular season. That's a regular season plan for it. He just wants to go mushroom spelunking again. But guys, this is going to be a boring game. I'm going to give you guys fair warning on this altogether. They had a joint practice. Let's just say it didn't go the Giants' way. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when they have a joint practice, they're not going to put the starters in typically in the game. They went ahead and figured out already what they wanted to do. You know, they already went ahead and saw situational drills and that kind of stuff to see what they needed to see. So I don't expect to see anything crazy as far as starters playing in this game or like that. I think they're going to rest them for the most part. I know Daboll's kind of said, you know, mixed on it there. He's kind of keeping us in the dark there. The one thing I would love to see is I would love to see Daniel Jones playing in the game just a little bit there. So maybe you see something a little better out of him and maybe people feel a little better going into the season. But that's more for us than Daniel Jones. He shouldn't need this. It's year 6.
You would hope so.
Yeah, I really do hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not so sure on this at this point. I'm not sure what to think of Daniel Jones at this point here. It's mostly not nice, though. I'll put it that way. But really, there's 2 things that you're going to care about here in this game overall. One is staying healthy. That's always key in a preseason game. The last thing you want is someone getting hurt in a game that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you hear in preseason for?
Yeah, like that's it just doesn't matter. Let's be honest. It doesn't. So the second thing,
it doesn't even matter, no matter how hard you try.
You can't stop us now. Wow.
Yes.
You're going ready to rage against the machine on me. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Boo doo doo. But yeah, the other thing is that it's time to figure out some of the bottom rosters positions here, guys. And there will be players that are on the bubble that'll make or break this roster potentially based on what they do in this game. You know, and that's something to watch out for. There's some battles there at some very crowded positions. Ironically enough, the corner position we're to talk about today, there's a ton of corners we got. We're just not too happy with the ones we got, but there's a ton of corners on this roster. Like, they're not all going to make it. There's a ton of wide receivers in this roster. We already cut Dennis Houston here earlier this week, but, you know, they're not all going to make it. You know, there's a lot of potential here for guys to make or break their potential season based on how they perform in this game, which is a little crazy to put that kind of emphasis on a preseason game, but it's the truth. It's what it is. So, you know, we'll have to keep an eye out. Rob and I obviously will go ahead and give you guys a heads up on what goes on in the game. Now, fair warning, guys. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that share button, because we usually come on Monday, and that's when we were initially talking about doing it. But this is going to be kind of a crazy week because you got the preseason game going on. You got the 53-man roster being finalized later on in the week. There's a lot of things going on right at the early part of this week. So we might be changing things up just a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit. So keep an eye out there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell on YouTube. That's the best way to find out when we're going live there, so that we guys don't miss a beat there. So let's get into the topic that people are all up in arms about there, and that's the corners. And it all boils down to what happened with the practices here with the Jets and the Giants, because our corners got smoked, guys. Let's be very honest about what happened. Our corners got smoked. Now, you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it and say, well, if that's bad, we need to look at corners. And that's how most people are looking, including the Giants brass, if you listen to what they're talking about. You can also look at it and say, okay, you got one of the best quarterbacks in football, potentially, depending on how healthy he is, in Aaron Rodgers. And you got Garrett Wilson, who, to me, is an underrated wide receiver in this league. I still think that. You don't think that?
Underrated?
Underrated, yes. The guy breaks 1,000 yards back-to-back seasons with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a fantasy player, everyone is all over that guy, so I wouldn't say he's underrated. He's not talked about because Zach Wilson, but he's definitely a go-to guy.
Listen, if you do 1,100 yards with Zach Wilson, you are easily able to do 1,500 with a good quarterback.
Maybe more.
And that's why I'm saying underrated, because you don't hear of him talked about as one of the best receivers in this league. And I honestly think
he was talked about that. He had the big umph coming out of his rookie year, but then last year, he got deflated after Rodgers went down.
Yeah, well, which is pretty much immediately. So
yeah,
I don't see the hype there anymore. You just say fantasy. I'm talking real football. In real football talk, I don't see the hype there was.
Well, most fantasy football players are real football fans.
No, I'm saying real football, not fantasy football, though. I understand most fantasy football people are actual football fans, but
I'm just saying there's other things going around the Jets media that was different prompts they were having that they didn't talk about this guy because they're talking more about who's playing at quarterback this week, what's going on with Zach Wilson, and not like, oh my God, look at Gary Wilson
getting sidetracked here anyway.
Sorry.
What I was saying is that you can look at it from the perspective of you have one of the best receivers in the league on the team, and you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league in this team. And you can kind of go, okay, well, it also was a very tough task. They just didn't meet the task. And that's possible as well. We got a very young corner room. But I do think the Giants are looking to add a CB2. I think they have faith in Banks to be one of the corners. But I do think they're looking to add a CB2 after what happened. The worst part is Sauce Gardner talking trash and everything, like as you're leaving the field and all that kind of stuff. Like Sauce getting saucy with us there. Like not cool, guys. That's not cool. Listen, I don't like the fact the Jets are talking trash about us because as far as I'm concerned, we're still up 4-1.
Pretty much.
That's what matters, guys, is championships. You're the Jets. You're the Jets. I haven't seen the Jets ever get to a Super Bowl in my lifetime. And I'm old.
You are old.
I am. It's been forever since the Jets have gone to a Super Bowl.
50 years?
I mean, it's been more than that, isn't it now?
Or probably
it was Super Bowl 3. That's so far back. We're going to single digits here, guys. Single freaking digits. Like, that's how long it's been. So, you know what? Let them talk trash, I guess, because that might be the biggest win they have all year.
They got something. Let them have something.
Yeah. When Aaron Rodgers collapses his knee or something again because he's just has a bad offensive line in front of him, he's getting up there in age now. Like, stuff's gonna happen, guys. So, but I don't try to hate the Jets though. Even as a Giant fan, I don't try to hate the Jets. It's like your little brother. It's almost like the Commanders of the AFC. Like, I don't hate them as much as you would think I could. Yeah,
it's fair to say because it's not they're not a good organization.
No, it's not. It's not. And we all have Jets fans we feel bad for. We all have a Jet fan in our life. Maybe everybody should get them something for Christmas that's blue. Maybe a little bit of red thrown in. Perhaps sprinkle a little bit of white.
Jim, I'm looking at you.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.